So the purpose of the QUENCH Network is to connect our understandings of how urban ecosystems work with our understanding of the health benefits of engaging with nature, and particularly around nature connectedness, so how we feel a part of nature. Urban ecosystems, green spaces, parks, canals, these are really important places for people. And so understanding how those ecosystems are working from an environmental perspective, and then how that affects how people feel a part of nature and the kind of well-being and health benefits they get from engaging in that nature is really important. And the network, what we try to do is we try to bring together academic understandings of urban environments with nature connectedness and health, but also the practitioners' perspectives as well, so we can really try to shape these ecosystems, manage them better for the health of people and the health of the environment.
Absolutely. I think one of the important things we do was to bring together, like, not just academics and practitioners, but lots of different kind of disciplines in academia. So, environmental scientists are looking at the quality of the ecosystems. Then you've got health researchers, social scientists, psychologists, and they're all all their work is relevant to this field, but they're not necessarily talking to each other, and certainly not kind of joining up. This really important point that you're making about linking the quality of the environment to those health benefits. There's also an increasing amount of evidence that it's not just exposure to nature or spending time in nature that generates those benefits. It's actually the way we interact with nature. It's the sense of kind of emotional and mental connectedness that we feel with nature. But there's much less understanding about the actual, like, the physical and chemical and biological qualities of the environment that generate that sense of nature connectedness. So we don't really know what it might be about ecosystem integrity or soil health or water quality or biodiversity levels that trigger or that cause or that facilitate nature connectedness. So there's a really big gap there. We know that nature is good for health, but we don't know what it is about the environment, what it is about nature that causes those benefits.
We also were really mindful of attracting individuals and organisations who perhaps might not already be working in this space, or individuals who perhaps are underrepresented in these sorts of networks.
And we had a brilliant response, didn't we? So, we put those calls out and so many people got in touch and wanted to get involved with the workshops that we ran. It was all sorts of people that have an interest in how do we work with these ecosystems and spaces better for the benefit of people, for the benefit of economy, and for health.
And the great thing about the network was bringing together these disciplines who wouldn't normally talk together to try and identify really pressing gaps in the research. But it wasn't just academics, we also got involved people from policy backgrounds, practitioners, and these included people like from the Eden Trust, the National Trust, Natural England, as well as smaller organisations including charities, businesses, people who are doing a lot of work, a lot of positive work about improving access to urban green spaces.
To develop the different projects we worked on, we took an approach of running a set of workshops over a period of about 2.5 weeks. And then from sort of talking to each other, we got them writing down things that they wanted to do, methods that they developed and worked on in the space. Then we took them through a process of beginning to coalesce those ideas, coming through with actual projects. So they would get into sort of slightly bigger groups and talk about the things that they might be able to do from part of the workshop. From this kind of coalescing phase, they had some space, or not very much, but they had some space to go away and write and develop ideas. And then in the end, we just had a pitching process for the final projects that might be done.
Yeah, so we had a number of key ideas. Some of those were about connecting our understanding of urban ecosystem processes with how that affects nature connectedness, but we were also really interested in the inequities and inequalities in the urban environment as well, with access to green space, and perhaps how there may be inequities in the quality of urban spaces that different communities in our towns and cities can access as well. And it's great, we had some projects that really took on that challenge and looked at inequalities in green space as well.
And we also gave the teams some quite specific guidance as well in terms of who should be in the team. So we specified that there needed to be an environmental scientist in each team, because that environmental science is so important that was really prominent in the projects. And we also specified that they had to have a practitioner as well to ensure that any of the academic work was really clearly linked to the sort of practical aspects and what was actually going on at the ground level.
So one of the main outcomes from the session was that we funded 5 excellent research projects that brought together academics and practitioners from very different backgrounds to create new projects. And what really excites me about all of this is that, you know, the research is still ongoing, but it's going to generate some longer term impacts in terms of research, generating new research data and new research areas, but also in terms of the real world applicability and the potential for real change in how we design urban green spaces.
It's really exciting. We're just getting started, really. You know, it's at the start of this journey, putting people together and having them explore ideas for the first time. You know, that's what I really took away from the workshops, is that we were just at the beginning of trying to bridge this gap between our understanding of urban environments and nature connectedness and health. And you know, it's just brilliant that Natural Environment Research Council were able to support this network in getting started. But there's lots more to do and lots more to learn if we're going to manage these ecosystems better and get better health outcomes for people.
And we're hoping as well, by bringing together these new teams of researchers and practitioners who weren't working together before and getting them involved in these sort of initial projects, that we're really kind of laying the foundations for larger funding applications. So whether that be via our current funds of Natural Environment Research Council or other funding calls which we think are going to be coming up soon, but we do feel that the teams that we have developed are going to be in strong positions to apply for some of this interdisciplinary funding in this very topical area.
And one of the great things is that the projects that we funded are so diverse. You know, we've got people looking at urban food growing, we've got people looking at kind of young people and their access to nature, we've got people looking at inequalities, people looking at citizen science.
Well, we'd love more people to get involved with the network. It's really important that we bring all these pieces together if we're going to create better urban ecosystems that support health and nature connectedness. So yeah, please do reach out to us, sign up to our mailing list, whether you're in a local authority, you're in the planning office, perhaps you're a landscape architect. There's all sorts of people that can benefit from this type of network.
Yeah, health practitioners, people in education, social prescribing.
Absolutely, like conservation charities, wildlife groups, like Friends of Parks groups, community food growing groups. So from kind of small community groups up to really large charities or businesses.
Green social prescribing is a really important area that our network is encompassing.
I think there's just lots of areas that our project touches, and it would be great to get everyone involved in this because these are big societal issues. We need everyone involved in tackling them.
Yeah, join us.